Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary and General, for your service. As you know, Mr. Secretary, we were in Munich with a delegation with Speaker Pelosi, and the delegation was unified in echoing the message that European countries shouldn't be using Huawei. One of the questions that came up from the former president of Estonia was, well, if you're not going to tell us to if you're telling us not to use Huawei, what alternative are you providing? And as you know, there's been a report that suggests that one of the things the United States should be doing is allowing medium and low-range spectrum to be used to develop an alternative. I mean, just the high-speed spectrum isn't sufficient. My question for you is, have you considered that? What do you think we need to do with either Nokia and Ericsson or other industry to help develop alternatives, and whether you'd be willing to come out to the Defense Innovation Unit in Silicon Valley and discuss some of these strategies?
Yes, I would like to come out. I'm actually trying to make a trip out to the West Coast to speak to them and some others. So yes, Congressman, for sure. We have a lot of great Western companies, and I don't want to exclude any Japanese, let's just say non-Chinese companies out there that I think provide great products. I'm very concerned about Huawei. I spoke about it publicly in Munich, as did the Speaker. The DoD is investing hundreds of millions of dollars to set up prototypes at 4 of our bases around the country where we could invite companies in to test, because we would benefit from 5G. I'm conscious of the time. The last thing I would say on the 5G side is that a lot of U.S. companies at least want to go to the mid-band range. The mid-band range is between 3,100 and 3,550 megahertz. It's where we operate our air defense systems, whether it's AWACS, whether it's Navy Aegis or Army and Marine Corps air defense systems. Private sector wants that. We need that. We're willing to share it. We think that's the way is to share this. The technology is out there, I'm told, to do that. I think that's the best way to move forward so we can meet the economic priority with the national security priority.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. I appreciate that. My next question concerns encryption. Your department has understandably, and I think rightfully, talked about the importance of encryption. Now, there's some people who are saying, well, let's have a backdoor. And I guess from a national security perspective, I really don't understand that. I mean, if you were to tell Apple to have a backdoor key to get into every iPhone, would you really want to risk having Apple have that technology that could be hacked by any employee or the Chinese and then have access to every phone in this country or world? And so, you know, it seems that the administration actually has different approaches to encryption.
Yeah, what specific question can I answer?
So, you know, your department has said encryption is really important to protect these phones. The Attorney General is asking Apple or some other companies to create a backdoor key. Now, a backdoor key, just to be clear, would be Apple would have it. So basically, any employee at Apple, if you create a backdoor key, would be able to break into any phone. And who knows who's working at Apple? I guess I just would wonder whether you could be working with the Justice Department to look at the national security implications of having a backdoor to encryption.
Okay, I'm not completely fluent with what the Department of Justice's views on the law enforcement side of it. Clearly, for DoD, we need encryption to pass classified data, operational plans, et cetera, amongst ourselves and with allies and partners. So I can take that back for you.
I appreciate that. And my final question is, you know, when we were in Germany, one thing that struck me is that the Bundestag actually has to approve every increase in troops anywhere around the world. Now, obviously, that's asking a lot for Congress to be able to do that. But is there a way Congress could be more involved in understanding exactly where our troops are and decisions about how many troops we're sending and why, and have input in that?
I think that has been the longstanding prerogative of the Commander-in-Chief, but I do know I believe we have systems where we notify you of deployments. I'd have to check and see, but that's my understanding.
It would be great if we could even get a sense of where all we're deployed and have some ability to have an input in that.
Sure.